12 years, with such titles as Ford's Cultural Literacy Analysis, The Basic Skills in Arabic Language and Rhetoric and Communication. He has numerous journal articles, and he's received 3 different awards from Abu Dhabi University. He's received the Distinguished Faculty Award, the Excellence in Teaching Award, and the Research Award. I know at my university, those are the only 3 offered, so. One call. He currently is Professor of Arabic Rhetoric and Literacy Criticism at Abu Dhabi University. It's my pleasure to introduce our last speaker of the half day, and his name is, of course, Dr. Jamil Hussain.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum. I'm really very happy to be here with you today to present my paper in the Discourse of Arabic Song. Actually, this discourse is almost completely depicted in Arabic literary studies. So I hope my study will be a step towards changing this equation. The song I have chosen for analysis is Alatlal, in English, Ruins. It was sung by the famous Egyptian singer Kulthoum, who is considered a legend in Arabic singing. Here is an overview of my presentation. First, introduction. Second, brief answers to the questions raised. Third, a sample of the song's analysis. Fourth, the ending comparing the poem and the song. Why Arabic song? Arabic song has always played an important role in the life of Arabs. It reflects cultural attitudes and also influences them. However, this major expressive discourse has been almost completely neglected in Arabic literary and critical studies. So I have chosen to focus on Arabic song in the hope that my study will encourage other scholars to address similar issues. Poem-based song template. Arabic song has many different templates, so it was necessary to identify a particular template, especially because this field of study is still new. The study shows the poem-based song template, which is characterized by being written in standard literary Arabic, unlike the Arabic that is common in the spoken dialect of their land. Hence, this template raises a cultural issue, as the text belongs to the official literature that relates to high culture, whereas song belongs to mass culture. The challenge here is how the template accommodates both high and mass cultures. Why Kulthoum? Why her song Alatlal? In the Arabic world, it is generally agreed that Kulthoum is the greatest female singer in the history of Arabic singing. So she was called the Lady of Arabic singing and the Star of the East. Alatlal is one of her most successful songs. The famous Egyptian musician Muhammad al-Ruhab once said, Alatlal is the most wonderful and most enduring song of all Kulthoums. For this reason, I have chosen the song Alatlal as a case study. Approach of the study. If literary criticism is concerned with the poetic and cultural studies are concerned with metapoetic, this study takes an approach which combines both the literary and the cultural dimensions, forming what can be seen as a literary culture analysis. Accordingly, the study questions are: one, what are the deviations of the song from the original poem? What is their value? Two, what segments did Kulthoum repeat? What is their value? Three, what segments were more exciting to the audience and why? Four, what is the relationship between the text and the both musical and the singing performances? Five, what are the cultural patterns that the song addressed? Number six, how did the song accommodate both high and the mass cultures. The study attempts to answer the question through an analysis of each segment of the song. After suggesting some brief answers to the questions, I will provide a sample of the song's analysis. Text deviations. There are many text deviations in the song from the original poem. The poem الأطلال ruins was composed by the Egyptian poet Ibrahim Naji. It was published in 1952. It tells a nostalgic story of two people who once met and loved each other, and then the story ends as the woman has become ruins of body and the man has become ruins of spirit. It has 134 lines. Kulthoum took only 25 lines and then looked at another poem by the same poet entitled الوداع, farewell. It was published in 1934. It depicts the pain of farewell and it has 28 lines. Kulthoum took only several lines and added them to the selected lines from الأطلال or ruins to make a total of 32 lines that form the song's text. Music was composed by Riyad Sumbati and first sung by Kulthoum in 1966. Text deviation. The study monitors the song deviations and clarified the significance as summed up in these tables. Deletion. Many lines were deleted because they describe frustration, depression, express introversion, or are complex lexical items and have dubious meanings. For substitution and addition, some words and lines were substituted for different considerations: psychological, political, semantic considerations. For repositioning, some lines were moved up and the others were moved down to achieve coherence and cohesion between the lines of the two poems, ruins and farewell. Where the 7 lines were quoted from farewell poem were integrated into the fabric of الأطلال or ruins poem with very significant shape in the overall meaning, style, and rhythm. In fact, very few Arabs know that this song is a mixture of 2 poems. Repetition. The study counted the number of repetition in the song as shown in this table. The frequently repeated segment, the third segment, it was repeated 3 times. The frequently repeated line, the 10th line, it was repeated 7 times. Also 19th line was repeated 7 times. The frequently repeated heuristic has love seen the ranking people like us. That was repeated 16 times. The frequently repeated vocabulary, the Arabic word sukara, drunken people, was repeated 34 times. The frequently repeated sentence, fate has willed it, it was repeated 3 times. The relationship between the text and both the music and the singing performance. First, music and the text. The introductory music provided a general sense of sadness, and the text detailed it. The musical interval between the segment embodied the dominant sensation for the following segment in the song. The musical rhythm embodied the content of the associated sentence. Second, the singing performance and the text. Kulthoum's performance embodied the meaning and the emotion through numbers. A number of techniques include diversity of singing performance between higher rhythmical and less structured styles, decorating the song with various sounds of according to various feeling and meaning, painful, pain, delighted, or befuddled. Performance of language sounds embodying the meaning. For example, in the singing of this line, and my longing for you burns my lips, and the passing seconds are endless in my mind. The performance of the lengthening sound in the Arabic word Jama'a endless. It started evenly, and then becomes wavering in intonation, so it embodies the feeling of a person who is burning. Let's listen. A sample of the song's analysis. The 18th line expresses longing between the lovers. And from longing there is a messenger between us. And a drinking companion handed over the cup to us. The Arabic word Rasul, which was translated here into as messenger, also means prophet, which has it evoked a spiritual atmosphere. At the meantime, the features of the Holy Quran recitation appeared in the performance of the word as Kulthoum performed it like the Holy Quran reciters, which enhanced the evoking of the spiritual atmosphere. While the second hymnistic evoked an atmosphere of drunkenness, which represents lack of conscious thought and liberates feeling and behavior from any restriction. The question here is, will the closeness between the lovers develop into physical contact, which quenches the fire of longing? The lines in the original poem show there is no touching between them, but there is a conflict in both lovers to resist the lust of the body. These lines were deleted. And other lines from the farewell poem were used instead. Has love seen drunken people like us? How much imagination we had built around us. And we walked in a moonlit path with joy skipping along ahead of us. And we loved like two children together. And we ran, and our shadows. The thinking of the 18th line was performed in this structure style. Let's listen.
ومن الشوق رسول بيننا
While the singing of the following lines came with very strong dancing rhythm, the hymnistic "Has love seen drunken people like us" was composed in successive drum musical rhythms, densely packed with the rhythms of hand samples, creating a very intense, quick, and clear rhythm, especially as it comes after unstructured rhythm. Let's listen to the 18th line and the first heuristic of the 19th line and observe the transition from the less structured rhythm to the use of drums.
ومن الشوق رسول بيننا
Sukara Muslimah has loved seeing drunken people like us. Relating the verb seen to love means that the drunkenness of the lovers having been called love itself, which normally happens in physical contact between lovers. On the other hand, the Arabic word Rasul refers to one of Sufism's rank in divine love. Furthermore, the song uses the tambourine rhythms of the Sufi spiritual celebration. Accordingly, the Arabic word Sukara addressed three situations: drinking alcohol, physical contact, and divine love. However, people in this contradictory situation share a common feeling, which is the feeling of being free from the restriction of mind and logic. Every one of them finds in this word, Sukara, drinking people, and in his performance, their own joy and delight. Accordingly, the mystic, particularly the Arabic word Sukara, which was repeated 34 times, provided three pleasures. One of them, drinking alcohol, is forbidden. Another, physical contact, is conducted in secrecy. And the third one, Sufism, is considered in some Islamic circles as a division from Islam itself. This is my interpretation of the audience vocal strong reaction when they listen, indicating their admiration when they listen to this mystic, particularly the word Sukara. The ending comparing the poem and the song. الأطلال poem ends with salvation through a retreat to the self and withdrawal from society and nature, while the song ends with the signal. My darling, everything is fated. It is taught by our own hands that we were made miserable. Maybe our fates will bring us together one day, while before our meeting was difficult. And each of us followed his or her own way. Don't say it was by our own will, but fate has willed. This segment represents a well-established doctrine in Islamic culture, beliefs in fatalism. This belief makes the listener feel they are absorbed from the responsibility of whatever is lost in their life at both individual and community levels. Beloved, money, homeland, freedom, etc. The thinking of the last sentence, fate has welded, uses very strong tambourine rhythms which are used in Sufi spiritual celebration. This celebration is an atmosphere where the individual merges with others, liberated from the weight of the body and the quality of reality, as we can see. Now let's listen to the last line and observe the strong to breathe rhythms of Sufi.
ومضى كل إلى غايته لا تقل شئنا فإن الحظ شاء فإن الحظ شاء فإن الحظ شاء.
The song found salvation in the religious spiritual terms. Accordingly, the song captures the essence of Arabic Islamic culture and maybe the essence of Oriental culture in general. Thank you for your attention.
Brian, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to Dr. Hussain for sharing with us his interpretation and breakdown of the Arabic song. And I know that in the beginning of your presentation, Dr. Hussain, you had talked about Arabic songs have been neglected by critical analysis and studies. And I think your breakdown of this particular song is the first of hopefully many more to come in the future. And not being Arabic myself, being cultural, coming from Canada, we're working with many different cultures. I quite enjoy learning about cultures, and I think taught all of us something this morning about the importance of song. And the song that you chose touched upon many of the presentations. We heard from Professor Sadiq this morning, Dr. Boulanger, am I saying it correctly? Boulanger, about the importance of love. And love in all of the presentations was present, and love was present in the song. And the other parts of this song that also had some themes that were woven into other presentations today had to do with drinking and drunkenness. Not a coincidence. In any culture.
That's outline.
But the one that, the words that was identified, the ah sound and that repetition of ah, I know when I've heard a Arabic song, whether it be in cultural places, you hear that repetition and you just can't help like tapping your foot, or it's something that no matter what language you speak, everyone can say that. And I quite enjoy that myself. And so I wanted to thank you again for sharing that. Can you, though, maybe, this is my question for you to get things started, and I'll open the floor up in case anyone else has a question this morning. One of your research questions was asking the audience, your subjects, like what part of the song was the most exciting part?
Yes.
And maybe perhaps I missed that. What was the most exciting parts that they kind of emphasized?
I think there are 2 or 3 most exciting segments in the song. The ranking people, the first one. Sure, the first one. Because it touches hidden feeling in the audience. The second one, it talk about freedom. And people in our country, especially in that period, 1966, were longing for liberation, for freedom. Especially the Arab woman, she can't ask her husband to divorce her. She hasn't right. At that time, I mean. So she asked him to divorce her, make her free. Particularly, he insulted her or used her in bad manner. I think these are 2 most segment, more exciting to the audience.
Thank you so much. Let's open the floor up. That's it.
I have actually a comment and a request. Already, the word sophism and Sophie might have a different meaning in the Western culture.
Yes.
So, which might be exactly the opposite of what we
use
in Arabic.
Yeah.
For us, Sofiyin or Mutasawwifin, those people who are capable of achieving some kind of sublimation and transcendence.
Yeah.
Sufism in the Western culture probably has a different meaning. So maybe you want to emphasize this fact.
Okay.
What you need by Sufism is some kind of spiritual sublimation, not actually what it means in English or in the Western culture. We need this clarification. I ran across the word Sufism in Matthew Arnold's poem. Forgot the title of the poem, but it was about a Sufi Greek scholar and philosopher, which is quite different from that. So maybe this needs to be emphasized.
Okay.
Also, my question is, who adapted the song for Kulthoum for singing? And who made the combination between the 2 poems of Ibrahim Naji? Did he himself? I'm sure it's not their work, but maybe, I don't know.
Yes.
And I know that somebody adapts the song for her and somebody does the music.
At least I can help you.
Yeah. So this is my question, and this is what I feel is necessary if you're gonna publish the work in English, that you clarify the word Sufism, I believe.
Thank you very much. Regarding the term Sufism, as I know, it is Arabic or related to Islamic culture only, according to the dictionary, British dictionary, use the same term.
As we do.
Maybe concept is different. I don't compare between both. But however, I talk about Sufism according to our concept, our culture. However, I will check review this issue. This is very important before publishing my paper. Yes. Regarding the second, I have second one. You know, Kulthoum always change in poetry. Always. And she has the right to do that. Why? Because Kulthoum has its own sense. She has long-term experience in thinking how to deal with audience, what they like, what they don't like. Also, you know, Kulthoum memorizes the Holy Quran. She has a strong background in Arabic literature. Furthermore, she has her own sense in music and the communication with audience. But regarding this poem, exactly, I think that some great poet helped here in modify the song. This issue isn't published. However, when I read the poem and noticed coherence or horizon between the two poems together, mixed together, I said, sure, there is great point behind this work, but it is not published. So I asked some of my friends who had relation with Kulthoum and their circuit. He informed me, yes, there is some great poet. His name Ali Jindi. He helped Kulthoum to combine between the two poets. But this is not documented. Just talking.
We have time for one more comment. Okay.
First, I would like to thank you because I enjoyed the presentation very much. And then I would like to ask you, the song was composed of two poems.
Yeah.
But who wrote the poems and when they were written?
One of them published in 1952, Ruins the Power. And the second one, Farewell, was published in 1932.
But the same poet.
Yeah. By the same poet,
Or
Ibrahim
the same
Nabi.
poet?
Yes, by the same.
I thought they were two different.
By the same poet, Ibrahim Nabi.
So actually, the song comes from the same
No,
poet?
yes. Yeah, exactly. Ibrahim Nabi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And as our session facilitator, I'd like to end with a thought. And I know I was talking to Dr. Hussein about his presentation, and he was, I would say, a little anxious because he informed me that this would be his very first presentation in English. And so let's give him